Nathan, your achievements as an elite sportsman would be ever so impressive, regardless of what your background was. But when you were 3 months old, you were diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. I guess let's take it right from the top. Do you want to just summarize for our audience what the cystic fibrosis condition is, first of all?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've answered this question that many times, Simon, and it's a very scripted answer. I mean, the best way for people to go and have a look is to go online and actually research. The issue with that is you get a very scientific answer. And cystic fibrosis, I'll just start by saying, affects everyone very differently. But essentially, cystic fibrosis is a genetic condition in Caucasians. It's the most common genetic condition in Caucasians worldwide. It affects the lungs, the respiratory system, and the digestive system. It affects the respiratory system by creating a thick, sticky mucus in the airways, which clogs the airways and causes irreversible lung damage, and in some cases an early death. And it also impacts the digestive system, whereas people with CF can't tend to digest enzymes or nutrients through food, so then they have to take additional pancreatic enzymes to assist with getting the vitamins and the minerals into the system and whatnot. So, and as I said, it impacts everyone in a different way. And I'm, as much as I'm an ambassador for the condition, I've also got to be realistic in the sense that I'm very fortunate with my condition, that I've been allowed to do what I can do. And this isn't a reality for everybody with the condition. So, I always have a positive mindset about succeeding and pushing through the barriers. No matter if you've got cystic fibrosis or not, I do a lot of inspirational, motivational, and overcoming adversity talks, similar to what we're doing today. And I always like to talk about the power of a positive mindset, and knowledge is power. And in this case, with cystic fibrosis, understanding what your condition is, how it impacts you, and what you need to do to overcome this challenge. So, as I said before, Simon, it impacts people in different ways.
Yes. Talk to me about your earliest recollection of when that challenge you've just mentioned, when you realised you had a challenge to overcome, because obviously you were diagnosed very early in your life. When was the first time that it emerged to you that you had a challenge which your mates didn't?
It's actually a really good question. I usually get asked the question of what's it like to have cystic fibrosis, where I can't answer that, where this question is actually the first realisation or acknowledgement is something I can. I was very, mum and dad were very shocked at 3 months of age. When I was diagnosed, they had no idea what it was. So from hearing mum and dad talk about it, to me, what it was like, they just had no idea. Again, they went online and researched. It was a very grim outlook. So I was very much cotton-wooled, I guess, as a baby. Very much hygiene and whatnot was very well looked after. But in saying that, mum and dad never stopped me from doing anything or participating. I guess my first real realisation was when I was at boarding school and I was left up to my own devices. Being teenager, being rebellious, I stopped doing the things that I should have been doing in terms of medication. I got sick, and then that led to me potentially not playing rugby on a weekend. So, and that was my first, oh wow, if I want to actually play the sport that I love doing, I need to look after myself. So that made me understand, or want to understand, what my condition was more so, how it impacted me, and what I needed to do to compete at the top level. So, and ultimately, that's what I wanted to do.
Rugby is such an interesting sport choice for someone who has your condition, because I had another rugby player, Paul Skull.
Simon, I'll just interrupt you there. Rugby's the best sport going around, whether you've got CF or not. So it was an easy decision. So I grew up in a rugby-loving family. Cystic fibrosis or not, it's the best sport going around. What it can teach you on and off the field in terms of work ethic, discipline, all the life values, and then what it can actually teach you on the field in terms of the physicality and teamwork and whatnot. it shaped who the person I am today. So, condition or no condition, I endorse the game of rugby for anyone out there wanting to be involved in the community sport, be a part of a community, and understand there are values that this sport can give you that I personally believe not all sports can. So, but everyone's got to taste it and try for themselves.
You hit the nail on the head there with discipline, because I can really see the correlation there between the respect and the discipline which is required in the game of rugby, and how that's been something which you've lived your life by. Let's talk about the game first of all, because I was going to mention I had another rugby player on a little while ago, Paul Sculthorpe, and he made this exact same point, that compared to, say, soccer, particularly soccer in Europe, rugby is a game of respect and a game of routine and of discipline and of commitment. First of all, how did you have to apply those values to your to your life in order to become an elite rugby player?
Well, Simon, I knew to be able to be the best, you got to beat the best. So ultimately, I guided my career on some of the athletes that I'd met. I'd seen, you watch documentaries, you hear all these things about being very anal about preparation, or not wanting to run on concrete because it's because of your knees or whatnot. So, and then how hard they train to get where they are. From an early age, I understood that if I wanted to become a Wallaby, I need to do things that others weren't doing or weren't willing to do, and break down those barriers, those pain barriers in particular, and also mental barriers, because you've actually got to want to do it. And when the going gets tough, you got to keep either going, or you're gonna beat it, or it's gonna beat you. So I just always had this mindset of nothing was ever going to get in my way of achieving my goals, and if I wanted something bad enough, I'd figure out a way to get there. So if my goal's here and then there's a brick wall that's sort of guiding me there, I'm either going to run through it and break that brick wall down, or I'm going to find an alternative route and get there some other way. So the brick wall route, it tends to hurt a bit more. So smarter, not harder was my philosophy when wanting to achieve goals. But, I think you touched on it before, that discipline to your outcome, whether it's sport or whether it's business or even health. It's integral in life, and it's a value that I live by.